heard the shots being fired.
Shot after shot being fired.
I dropped to the floor.
A man holed up in an apartment. As soon as police show up,
officers took gunfire from the suspect.
People living nearby taking cover.
I told my son, okay, we're going to stay on the floor. We're just going to keep crawling.
Hours of negotiating end with more gunshots. The suspect killed. And tonight, the mayor has a warning.
If you fire at our police officers, we're going to respond.
Fox 35 has live team coverage of officers under fire.
And police say the shooter called 911 himself to threaten police officers. And when the officers showed up to see what was going on, they were met with a barrage of bullets.
Police fired back, killing the suspect. This all started right around 8:30 this morning at the Pentagon Garden Apartments in Melbourne near Babcock and Strawbridge. We have live team coverage of this shooting. Fox 35's Randy Hildreth is speaking with people who were hiding in their apartments. But we begin tonight with Esther Bauer. Esther, the police chief says he's grateful no officers were hurt or killed.
Every single police officer is able to go home to their families tonight, and that is good news. This could have been an absolutely deadly situation, not only for the police officers who responded to the scene, but for all the people living here who could have been caught in the crossfire when several gunshots rang out earlier this morning. Now, I do want to start with new breaking details I've been working to confirm for you since earlier today, and we didn't know, was anyone inside the suspected shooter's apartment who could have been harmed. I just spoke with officers on scene who say they were able to survey that apartment, go in and check every room, check every closet. Thankfully, no one else was injured inside of that apartment. Now, here on scene at the apartment complex, hours later, it is still extremely active. Melbourne police did just remove the crime scene tape behind me, but I want to pan up right now. I want you to see where exactly the shootout happened. It happened on the third floor near the stairs. That's where this suspect was killed. People peeking through their windows saw guns drawn as Melbourne police tried to find an active shooter at the Pentagon Garden Apartments on Wednesday morning.
You know, it's been a very difficult situation, very fast moving.
The Melbourne police chief says this started as a suspicious call, but as soon as his officers arrived,
Officers took gunfire from the suspect.
Crisis negotiators tried to get the man to surrender peacefully for a few hours, but that never happened. When you all tried to reapproach, they were shot at a second time?
Yes. So when our officers went up to the residence, they immediately were under fire.
This is video when first responders moved into the apartments moments after nearly a dozen gunshots rang out. No police officers were injured, and the mayor of Melbourne says that's the best outcome in a situation like this.
You know, I think looking at this scene, everything turned out well because the officer's going home.
Mayor Paul Alfrey is a retired police officer himself who knows just how dangerous this is for law enforcement.
How many suspects, you know, what's being fired at, you know, think about people around you.
With the suspected shooter now dead, the mayor has one message for anyone who goes after law enforcement in his city.
And if you fire at our police officers, we're going to respond. And the response you're going to get, you're probably not going to like.
And since this was an officer-involved shooting, we do know FDLE will be taking the lead on that part of this investigation. Even with the suspected shooter dead, the Melbourne police chief says they are still working to find out any kind of motive as to why this person was targeting police officers. The one detail I still do not have for you tonight is the identity of the person who was killed. The police department says they are still working to connect with that person's family. We will make sure to bring you the breaking new details of their identity as soon as we learn it. Reporting live in Melbourne, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
Esther, thank you. Fox 35's Randy Hildreth continues our live team coverage now. So, Randy, you spoke to people who were taking cover in their apartments.
Yeah, good evening to you. I can tell you that neighbors around here are traumatized. I spoke with a mom who lives at the apartment complex. She says she and her 9-year-old son hid in their bathroom for hours, hearing the gunfire around them. A new video I want to show you tonight allows you to hear some of that shootout between the suspect and police. Round after round of gunfire cut through a quiet morning near Strawbridge Avenue. Amanda Hernandez lives at the Pentagon Garden Apartments. She says she was jolted out of her sleep.
The gunfire actually woke me and my son up.
Hernandez says she covered her 9-year-old son as they crawled to the bathroom to hide.
The mama bear instinct. What do I need to do to protect him?
Other neighbors at the complex reported hearing the gunfire and seeing police with guns drawn outside their window.
Heard the shots being fired. I dropped to the floor because because I was thinking, what if it goes through the window?
Melbourne police say a man at the apartment complex was shooting at police. Hernandez says her unit is 1 floor below where the man was shooting. She estimates 12 to 15 rounds were fired when officers first arrived around 8:30. And then after 10 a.m., a shootout with law enforcement that ended with the suspect dead.
In the better part of 10 minutes for the second half, which was honestly the scariest of all because our building is cement and we felt tension from that.
The identity of the suspect has not been released, but Hernandez says he was always nice to her and would speak when they'd see each other.
And I knew that he had a couple beliefs that maybe would go against the grain to some, but I wouldn't have imagined anything of this magnitude going on at all.
Now, police were escorting some of the neighbors here at the apartment complex out of the complex this morning. The mom that you heard from says that she's packed her things and her son, and they are staying with a relative as this investigation continues. As you heard Esther mention, one detail that we're still working to get tonight is the identity of the man involved in this active shooter situation. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated. Reporting live tonight, Randy Hildreth, Fox 35 News.